Did you know this song is called Entrance of the Gladiators? So enter Krakenlats, the Gladiator. Hey everybody, I'm Bob. Welcome to the Board Game Rundown. This is Hoplomachus Victorum. This is given to us by Chip Theory Games. I'm going to give you a quick little rundown on how the game is played and my thoughts on the game. So Hoplomachus Victorum is the solo variant to the Hoplomachus Remastered that you can beat up on friends. This one you're playing by yourself, and you're kind of like leveling up your character, gaining followers to in your camp, and you're going to be playing through 4 acts and trying to get to the Scion, which is like the big baddie at the end of your road. So the game is played in multiple rounds. Each round consists of like a travel phase where you're taking your encampment and you're moving it from location to location. You can't travel back along the same path you came from unless it's the start of a new act. But once you get to the new location, you're going to look at the icon on there and you're going to go with the event. So when you get to an event, you get to choose. You can spectate, which if you need to heal up because you're worried about dying, you can choose to spectate, or if you just don't want to fight in that fight, you just choose to spectate. Or you can accept. When it comes to accepting, the opportunities are kind of like quests that you kind of go on. So you'll draw 2 of those, you'll choose which one you want, and then you're going to put it down here in your little quest area. And then at any time, you can choose to try to complete that quest. If you fail, don't worry, you're just going to hold on to it, and you can try again later. If you choose to do one of the other ones, the sporting events, there's sport events, and then there's bloodshed. And then there's different things that go along with each one. In the sporting events, you've got things like capture the flag, king of the hill, and things like that where you're fighting for an objective. Whereas with the bloodshed, it's, well, what you would think, bloodshed. You're going just for the kills. The combat plays a lot like Hoplomachus Remastered does. The combat has some small differences to it, but the same basic breakdown in the steps are the same. So first, you would score any points that you might get for like a King of the Hill type of thing. You're going to have then your deployment phase, and it's always going to start with the enemies first. Once you've set your lineup up according to what the card icons say, you'll deploy your first unit here. You put some blue health points on them, and they will deploy under the number 1 spot for the enemies there. And then when it comes to your turn, you get to choose which order you want to deploy people in. You're going to choose the appropriate amount of chips. Let's start with 5 here, and we're going to throw my defender out here. Put the health chips down right there. I am using, just for the record here, I have too many bones at home, and I have the upgraded health chips. It does come with the normal red chips that are just like these blue ones here, but I do have the chunkier ones in here just because they're a little heftier and I like them. And I will deploy on my spot there. Now, units, when you deploy them, they cannot move or attack or anything right away unless they have like the tactics ability, which is described on your little cheat sheet here. Or some of them, like the archer, will have like a first strike where they can actually attack. The turn they come into play, they just can't move. But once you have deployed and it comes back to like the opponent's turn, they can then deploy again. So they would deploy the next unit here. He's got 2 hit points, so we put him down. If they had tactics, they could choose to assign some tactics. And then they have movement. So like I said, units that had just come into play can't move unless they have tactician. Well, this guy happens to have tactician, so he will get to move the turn he comes into play. But the hero guy here, that he can move because he's been out of turn, kind of like a summoning sickness type of thing. So when it comes to movement, the top little icon on the chip is going to tell you how many movement spots they've got, and you have to move all of your people at one time. You can't like move one a little bit, move another one, then move the same guy again. You got to move one unit, move them as much or as little as you want, but then they're done, and then you move another unit as much as you want. You don't have to move the full amount, but you can't go back and move them more later on. So I could like move a unit up 2, I can move a unit up 3, just like that. After the movement, you have a chance to use abilities. So some of the chips will have a little yellow A on there. That's an ability. And those are things that your character will get to do during the abilities phase. You choose to activate them or not. And then you have the engage. And with the engage, that's when you do your fighting. You're going to have your either special skills or you can use an actual just fight. And when they go to fight, you'll look and see they've got little dice icons on there. You'll take the appropriate colored dice, but thankfully for me, being slightly colorblind, they do have a number on there. So this has a little 6 on it, so I know the 6 is the red die, and that's easy to tell because there's 6 kind of little pips all the way around. But the 6 also means that there's just swords on all 6 sides. So hit, he's going to go ahead and hit me, and I would take a point of damage off of my guy. No big deal. And that would be that. Then it would come back to me to do my deployment, tactics, movement, all of my abilities, and then my engaging after that. And then the rounds will proceed just like that, back and forth until one side till I either surrender because I give up because I don't want my guys to die, or to the death, right? We keep going until the objective is met or all the other opposing units are dead, in which case you win kind of by default. But other than that, that's how the basic gameplay comes. But the main difference is, like I was saying, is going to come in the in-between, in the different rounds, in the cleanup and the traveling, because you're going to be taking this pad of paper that it comes with, and you're kind of be leveling up your main character. So as you complete the missions, there's a little spot in the back that kind of tells you what you get. You can choose to add or upgrade dice. Depending on what you did, you can choose to recruit people into your encampment, so you'll have them to deploy later. You can replenish your tactics chips, which are super strong. They help you do different things like stun people, hamstring them so they can't move and attack in the same round. Adrenaline, so it makes your guys move more spaces, which can be super helpful, especially in like a capture the flag type of scenario. And you also have these prowess cards, which is a really good way to level up your main character. And those are typically earned by the opportunity cards. So as long as you successfully complete the opportunity card, you just kind of like discard it to the back here, and like this one here says hero prowess. So I would go through there's a whole deck right here with your hero on them, and has a whole bunch of prowess cards, and you would just choose one that you're able to get. Like some of them have like level 1 or level 2. You can't take level 2 without taking the level 1, which kind of makes sense. But then you would just take those prowess cards, add them to your active prowess cards over here, and now your character has a new ability that you'll get to use the next time you fight. Once you've done that, you're going to mark off a week off of your little calendar here. It says like Acts 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you're just going to keep checking those off. And then at the end of 12 weeks, you're going to have a Primus fight. You have to fight like one of the big heroes that you didn't select, because I believe there are 10 heroes or something. There's quite a few. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. Looks like 8 heroes. So you choose one, and the other ones all become ones that you can like randomly choose from to set up your kind of Primus fights before you get to your Scion. And you'll have to fight them, and there'll be there's a whole other slew of kind of like rules that go with that. And it's a huge fight. 8 hit points. This is like one of the biggest things that you will fight. And once you get past that, and you do that 3 times, and then at the end of Act 4, you fight the Scion, and the Scion will have its own card. It's going to have its own special rules, dice pool, and everything else that goes along with that that you have to deal with. And once you've defeated that, then you have, you're like the hero, right? You're the main gladiator champion. And then you can just basically start over, and you choose a different gladiator to go through the 4 acts. It does have kind of like a nice save feature. So like once you've played through the 12 weeks and you've completed an act, on the back side, you can write down like what units you have, what prowess cards you have, what tactics you have. And then that way, when you put it all away and you bring it back out again, you can just kind of pick up where you left off. So that is super handy. That's kind of the basic rundown on how to play the game. And to get into some of my thoughts about it, so I'm not a huge solo game player. I'd much rather beat up on my friends than beat up on myself. I do find that sometimes if you know what the enemy is going to do, right? Because they have to put a set of rules in place for the AI to basically use, and there's not really a lot of randomness to it. So you can almost kind of game that system, like, well, I know that guy is going to go after to do it with the most hit points, so if I kind of come over here, I can be in position to attack them. And it kind of makes it easy to kind of game that system to really come out ahead. And I much prefer to have somebody surprise me with something that I didn't see coming. But other than that, though, it's still a lot of fun to like roll the dice and try to get your tactics to come off, and to like my dude's got like a hook ability, so like pulling the people into like my fighters so they can sit there and beat up on them while my archers shoot them. still fun. You know, like leveling up your character is super cool. Like, you know, building up your stats and building your dice pool up and rolling like the strongest die to try to hit somebody is a good time. And then, one of the things I failed to mention was there's these, like a Scion influence, I believe it was called. And so the more you choose to spectate events and not participate, it kind of makes the Scion stronger. And if you do that too much, by the time you go to fight the Scion, you're going to have a lot more like penalties and Bane chips that get added to the bag, where it'll be like, oh, when you go to build your enemy pool, it says depending on where you're at, you're going to draw one person from that area to be like the main character, and then you're going to draw so many chips out of the bag. And if you draw those Bane chips, that's going to be a negative effect, usually, more than likely, that you're going to have to deal with in that fight. So if you spectate too much, it's just going to make it harder on yourself through the rest of the game, and that makes it super interesting too. You do get these blessings. The blessings are kind of used for like rerolls, or if your main character runs out of health, you can use a blessing to kind of like revive, like an extra life type of thing. So that's good, because I've definitely, like in the remastered, made some bad moves, like, you know, doing really good, but I pushed my hero too much, and then somebody takes him out, and then that's the game. It's like, well, crap, I should have fell back with him. If I only had a blessing, I could have like revived him and gotten the heck out of the way and let the little guys finish it up. But to keep moving on, as you're moving the camp around, it's super neat because these maps will change. So while the camp base map stays the same, depending on where your camp is at, this little board here is going to change. Let me see if I can kind of pull these to the side a little bit. And there'll be like another one on the back side. I'm not sure where that one is from. Maybe this place down here. I can't read it upside down. I'm not that skilled. And then there's a whole stack of like 4 or 5 other maps that are two-sided, and it kind of changes the layout each time, right? So this one here looks like it's got some King of the Hill spots. So you would use the arena appropriate chip for that. I did some fights in Atlantis, so of course you have to have a trident, and that comes with like special abilities. And then also the map that you're fighting on will come with these little cards. There's double-sided cards for a whole stack of them over here, plus the Scions and whatnot. And it gives you rules for each arena. So again, that adds a little bit more like variability and flavor and whatnot to each of the different battles that you'll be going on. But all in all, like the production value, Chip Theory does a great job with. It's like this paper is thick. It's really nice. My biggest complaint about that is I wish there was another one, not of the same bit. Like this is a nice, really nice breakdown of all the skills you can have, but like one more of these with like a breakdown of the rounds, a breakdown of the combat turns, and then like some of the other like key phrases that aren't on this one, that aren't like necessarily skills, but they're still like key terms that you need to know. That would be super helpful. And just having those two things, like how to do the cleanup phase, what all that entails, and the rewards and whatnot, putting all that on another sheet would be nice. Then I wouldn't need to pull the rule book out so much. I mean, there is a little bit of that on the back for the quick reference, which is nice, but like, I don't know. This is such a nice piece. I just want 2 of these, boom, I'm good. Like, and I'd have all of that right here. Like, having it on the back for a quick reference is handy, but I don't know. Like, I love this paper. I don't know what they make this out of, but it's really nice. Just like these cards, like the card qualities on here, really nice card quality. But then that's again, if you've played any Chip Theory games, like the Too Many Bones that I have, it's the same way. These mats are all like stitched on the edge. It's super nice. The chips, like, I mean, they're nice. So can never complain about the quality of the components. The box is like super thick and heavy, because you pick that box up, it's got some heft to it. So you got to have a thick enough box to be able to hold all of that. So all in all, I'm going to go ahead and give it a rating. Normally here on the Board Game Rundown, we'll rate a game from 0 to 10 using 0.5s. I'll average the score by 1 and give you the final score, and that's what the Board Game Rundown is going to give it. So I would probably give this an 8. I enjoy it. I like playing it. I like going through this, but I definitely prefer the remastered better. Cause like I said, I'd rather beat up on my buddies and try to surprise them with moves and whatnot than have a system that I can just game, you know what I mean, to just strike. And that's the biggest thing. But I really wish that had more of the level up system in it. That really kind of like saves it for me. Yeah, it's a little, I don't want to say tedious, but there's a lot of minutia kind of going in there just to make sure like you're doing it right as you go through. But leveling your character up is always just a satisfying thing for me. Like, you know, I've RPG player from way back in the day, and so that kind of adds that little of a feel to it without it being too legacy to where I'm putting stickers on things and making it really hard to like reset and play again as something else. So no, definitely a solid outing by Chip Theory, and we really appreciate the opportunity to get some hands on this and play it, because yeah, it's a good time. So if you've watched this far, please give the video a like. Make sure you are subscribing to the channel and ring the bell so that you know when videos come out. And for the Board Game Rundown, I've been Bob.